Scientists recently injected mice with 40,000-year-old human DNA. You're probably wondering why scientists would do such a bizarre experiment. And even if they found something, what could it possibly mean for us? What emerged from the mouse after the injection was so unexpected that it has left everyone speechless. But before we get into that, make sure to hit that like button for more videos. Also, stick around for number 2 if you want to hear about the most bizarre experiment done by scientists in 2023. First, let's talk about this crazy idea of injecting mice with human DNA. Scientists at the University of California, Los Angeles took a small sample of ancient DNA from a 40,000-year-old piece of ice, permafrost from Siberia. The DNA was extracted from the permafrost and then injected into mice. But why did they do this? Well, it's because they wanted to see what would happen if someone were to ingest ancient DNA. They were particularly interested in seeing how the body would react to the DNA and whether or not it would cause any health problems. Now, you may be wondering why they didn't just use modern human DNA. After all, wouldn't that have produced the same results? Well, actually, no. See, when scientists compare modern human DNA to ancient human DNA, they find that there are some significant differences between the two. As a result, scientists were curious to see how the body would react to this foreign DNA. But what does all this science stuff have to do with me? Well, more than you might think. You see, scientists believe that one day we may be able to use gene editing technology to modify the DNA of our food crops. This could potentially make the crops more nutritious or resistant to pests. However, there is a risk that these modified genes could end up in the body and cause unknown health problems. That is why it's important for scientists to study the effects of ingesting foreign DNA before we start modifying our food supply. So, what did they find out? Well, when the mice were first injected with the ancient DNA, they showed no signs of illness or discomfort. However, as the days went by, the scientists started to notice that the mice were growing hair in strange places. At first, it was just a few stray hairs here and there, but eventually the mice were completely covered in hair. Now, you're probably thinking, big deal, right? Hairy mice. What's the worst that could happen? Well, as it turns out, quite a lot. As the mice grew older, they started to develop severe arthritis. Their joints became swollen and their movements were stiff and painful. It was clear that the ancient DNA had somehow affected their immune system, causing their bodies to attack their own joints. But perhaps the most shocking discovery of all was that the mice started to grow human-like spines. Their spines began to curve, and they developed a pronounced tailbone. Now, you may be wondering how this is even possible. After all, mice and humans are very different animals. How could one species develop the spine of another? Well, it turns out that the ancient DNA somehow caused the mice's bodies to start developing spines while they were still in the womb. This resulted in the birth of the first-ever human-mouse hybrid creatures. This is obviously very disturbing, but it also raises some interesting questions. If we can't even trust the DNA of our food to be safe, then what can we trust? And what does this mean for the future of genetic engineering? We'll leave those questions for you to ponder as we move on to number 2. Scientists recently resurrected a 48,500-year-old virus that was found in Siberian permafrost. You heard that right, a real-life zombie virus. But here's the craziest part. The virus is still alive and active today. That's right. It managed to survive for thousands of years and then sprang back to life as soon as it came into contact with an air temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. Now, you're probably wondering why scientists would do something so crazy as to release a potentially deadly virus back into the world. Well, it's because they wanted to study it and learn more about how it works. By studying this virus, scientists hope to learn more about other viruses, including how they replicate and how they cause disease. This knowledge could then be used to develop new treatments and vaccines for viral infections. What do you think? Is this ethical or just plain crazy? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.